Welcome to the TDC Today Show USA. My name is Sue Roskoff, and I'm here to introduce Emily Golmer and to bring us into the show here. Go ahead, Emily.
Welcome, everybody, to the TDC Today Show. The TDC is headquartered, or the TDC, or the Disability Channel, is headquartered in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And we've been working with them for the last few years now. And Kurt is the ambassador, U.S. ambassador for the Disability Channel. The Disability Channel was started over a decade ago by Jay Stoyan. And it's all about media, television, radio, that kind of thing. So, Sue, what do you gotten from the TDC?
Well, TDC is all the Today. I'm going to say the Today Show. The Disability Channel. They do free training for folks that have disabilities. It's an introduction to accessible content production. They work with social media, captioning using YouTube, assistive technologies and accessible documents, podcasting, marketing, inclusive and accessible design. It is an amazing way to get introduced to this whole world of accessible content. They have a free 14-week instructor-led program presented by Owlware Limited in partnership with Mohawk College and provincial and federal governments of Canada. So it is an amazing program. If it's something that's new to you, it is something that you should look into and find out more about, because you probably know somebody who would be the perfect candidate for the program. Now, Kurt Roskoff is our TDC ambassador, and I'm going to bring him in and have him do a little more introduction here to our show. Over to you, Kurt.
Oh, quickly, I meant to say it's also not just for people with disabilities. It's also, we're going to include veterans in there too. But over to you, Kurt. Just wanted to quickly say that. I meant to say that before.
All right, here we go. So I'm Kurt Roskoff, an ambassador with the Disability Channel. As they said, we're all about showcasing abilities, television, buying with people with disabilities and veterans. So Sue, Emily, and I are going to go through a quick update here and make some announcements and give you a little insight of today in terms of what's happening in the work we do and what's going on out and around the USA, and in our work here positioning the USA for things going on worldwide, and really creating a position here that this is about disability advocacy from a perspective I put into it that is showing people with disabilities as really helping us focus a little bit more on 2 billion people in the world. So there's 2 billion people around the world are the people in the disability community that I give credit to shaping for me a little bit more of how the ideals are for the disability sector in the mantra of ability and people-friendly language, people-first language, self-determination, a lot of lingo that I really learned more so in the last 10 years, and it really does make a difference. So, for everybody out there, bringing us linguistics and the energy behind words and the perception, and as we deal with stigmas, that it really is a mindset. It's building from someone's current perspective, because that's what I had to do. I talk about the story that I'm 51 years old, and it wasn't until I was entering into my 40s before I really had a little bit more of an aha moment and really more got down to the rub of how I would say 3 out of 4 of us, that 6 billion of the 8 billion people in the world really stand to learn from this community that I note and proclaim to be masters of ability. So with this desire to get this out and around to all of you and to create a motivation or inspiration or to just make that connection, maybe connection of the heart, to say, maybe we have this as an opportunity for personal and professional development. And so this is what I found, because, over the decades of my life, I had experiences and I really held on to them, like the saying of holding on to your laurels, and just really checking that box to say, hey, I'm doing something with people with disabilities and disability community, and just moving on and getting back to really giving permission to segregation. Because when we look at it, let's go down the list. How are we doing in our faith spaces? How are we doing in our service organizations like Lions, Kiwanis, Rotary, Optimist Club? Let folks name their favorite nonprofit 501c3 organization here in the USA, or volunteer group, community organization, whatever it may be, and say, are we looking at people with disabilities as those who are serving us being people that don't as much identify as having a disability? And when we really get into this, what we can really take the trajectory to is to just totally realize the bifurcation, the false binary, but the need, because of our economic systems, that there is definitely an economic barrier, financial barrier, a distribution of money that is not equitable. And why is it not equitable? It's because we have unfair biases against people with disabilities, systemic oppression, where if we look at inclusive hiring, the channel was developed because of the lack of inclusive hiring in TV production itself. So in my journey, I got involved in advocacy, and over a couple decades now, I would say that I represent experiences in over 100 organizations, including having been the vice chair of the Wisconsin Council on Physical Disabilities, appointed to the council by the governor. And what I found is that we sit around a table with 5 to 25 people most often, and then there's a group of people that have work being done in a tremendous mission. But then what happens? We look at the lack of marketing. I was involved in our Aging and Disability Resource Center here in Waukesha County, Wisconsin. And what I'm pleased, proud, and privileged to say is that here in Waukesha County, Wisconsin, with our ADRC, there is a staff member who is a marketing professional. This all came from my marketing water skiing and appealing to my government to say we need this marketing aspect, to have somebody focus on the social medias, the digital media, and getting out and around the community to make this available, because we have tremendous resources at the Aging and Disability Resource Center. But what does it do to have a resource that is not known to an individual you are aiming to serve? It takes marketing to bring that together. So it was in 2014 that I was solidified into the planning committee for the 25th anniversary celebrations of the American Disabilities Act, and already plunging into the first ever Adaptive Sports and Rec Expo. So I was deep in it, folks. I was deep in it to say, what are disability organizations doing? How are they doing it? And how successful are they? And so, again, very successful in what they do within the walls of their agency and in and around the workspace of the individuals in their team. But then again, a challenge to get this deployed to folks at home. So what happened is being recognized in my work as vice chair of the Wisconsin Council on Physical Disabilities, we have a friend by the name of Marty Hagedorn. And he, for several years, ran a radio show with River West Radio. So here at the channel, when Jay Stoyan was introduced to me, that I was announcing to him my appetite for television. And it was because I was doing for a few years by the instigation of Marty Hagedorn with Youth Rising Up, really getting the message out there from inner city youth. And so what a disparity there. Imagine being in the inner city in an impoverished zip code, in this world we live in where it matters where you live. Economics matter where you live. What about a future that we build a world where it doesn't matter where you live, that there can be some levity, that when a child is born into a place, that child has as equal chance as the other 8 billion people to have what they need economically? What a concept, folks. For some reason, we as human beings are afraid to talk about that. We are used to our culture, custom, and genetic memory, and we just perpetuate it forward for no good reason. We have people all around the world reaching out and crying out for help. We have the disability community saying, hey, why are y'all doing this to me? What did I do? What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Why do we have income ceilings where when someone with a disability earns, a few $100s, that all of a sudden it's on the radar with a caseworker to say, you know what? Now the government's going to have an appetite to cut off your medical benefits, your Social Security income, and things that make it a little bit more practical for you to work around the economic barriers and the systemic oppression. And then they want to take that away. It's like, or I don't want to say it's like, it is enslavement, so let's take a look at what we do to help a person live out their dreams, being at the best version of themselves. And again, getting back to this term of self-determination. This is a term that has been the battle cry of Americans with disabilities, because Americans with disabilities want to be the ones to tell the nation themselves how this might all be a little better. We have a challenge in America to pass the Disability Integration Act. So let it be known in and around the world that myself, Kurt Roskoff, I decree and declare that Congress in the USA needs to take a look at the Disability Integration Act and look at all of these senators and all of the congressional leaders that have not been participating in making the Disability Integration Act work for passage. It's a political ploy to say that those working on it haven't done good enough, so they're just going to vote no and work on everything else in the country's business. This is what's happening in and around the globe. The business of people with disabilities is always put ergo last. Why is that? I wake up every morning and I put my head on the pillow every day saying, this is nonsense, folks. We need to get stuck in here. What is the worst emulation of integration? The worst? It is the worldwide business community. I go around the globe and I make myself available on Zoom and on all different platforms, Alignable. I'm in and out. I'm going into rooms and I'm saying, I'm with the Disability Channel, Showcase Abilities Television, buying with people with disabilities and veterans. Oh my gosh, there is such a thing. That's what I said. I thought I had to be the one to create Ability TV. What a great kudos to Jay Stoyan, the founder of the Disability Channel, that he was doing work over a decade ago in television production and recognized, you know what? People with disabilities aren't working with me. WTF, folks. Really, WTF. I mean, let's get frank here. Why? Jay Stoyan had the gumption to say if he alone has to change that in the world, he will. And as far as I can tell, nobody has introduced me to another person even close to the work of Jay Stoyan. Why is that? So basically, Jay Stoyan and me partner together because he and I are really the only ones in the world that thought about this, but I didn't have the capacity. I mean, Jay Stoyan has thousands of times more competency and capability to do what he's doing at the channel than me. If I was trying to do this, we'd be waiting another 15 years, for something like the Disability Channel. Jay Stoyan is delivering it on a silver platter. So Emily Gomer, what say you? You keep professing me as an ambassador. Are you not an ambassador of the Disability Channel too? Do we need to get you and Jay Stoyan together? Does he need to decree and declare you, bestow you with a sword and say, Emily Gomer, you are now an ambassador of the Disability Channel? What say you, Emily? Are you or aren't you an ambassador? Yay or nay? What is it?
Yes, I am. I mean, technically, probably in essence, everybody is an ambassador of the disability channel, whether they realize it or not. But anyway, but I mean, yes, I've been working with Jay along with you, and so has Sue, and I'm sure like a number of other people, and so I guess maybe maybe more official ambassadors, but I think in a sense everybody is or could be, if that makes sense.
And so what does it mean to you to be an ambassador of something so powerful? What does it mean to you?
Well, just maybe just giving maybe more of a voice, or maybe sticking up for maybe those who I shouldn't say don't have a voice, but haven't really to hopefully maybe get more heard than of. Why am I losing my words here? Getting the kind of give, I don't know, recognition, I don't think it's the right word, but getting the needs of the disability community kind of like heard, and something more done about it than kind of what's going on right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I would say there's a lot to how do you go about it, you know. So I would say I know friends who have whatever disability, you know, disability has a wide range of possibilities. So
Yeah.
I know people who have enough struggle just trying to get through their day to day that to try to take on and tackle things that are more and bigger and better sometimes is asking a lot. So which is totally fair. It's totally fine. That's when those that have the capacity to and the bandwidth to be able to do something and to say something and to do more. Personally, I call on each and every one to actually do that. And those of us who, that's part of why we're here. I know Kurt was talking about the DIA, the Disability Integration Act, and while he was talking about that, I actually brought up there's an entire website that is just devoted to this so that people can understand what it is. disabilityintegrationact.org. So disabilityintegrationact.org. And the first thing on here, it says, what is the Disability Integration Act? And just for the sake of clarity, I'm going to just read this paragraph quick so that, I'm just going to read it. The Disability Integration Act, DIA, is a civil rights bipartisan and bicameral legislation. Okay, there's a new word for me. I'm so sorry, new word for me. Legislation. So it's to address the fundamental issue that people who need long-term care services and supports are forced into institutions and losing their basic civil rights. The legislation builds on the 25 years of work done to end the institutional bias and provide seniors and people with disabilities home and community-based services as an alternative to institutionalization. It is the next step in our national advocacy after securing the community first choice option. So how is it that we have to even have legislation in place so that we can have an alternative to people being institutionalized? What happened to people having their own voice and being able to decide for themselves that I want to stay at home? I need options so that I can do and live life the way I want. I mean, it blows my mind. I'm sitting here like my head's literally spinning around here trying to understand how it is that we're in a society where people are told, you know what, your option is we're going to put you in an institution because, you know, that just makes it easier for the rest of us.
Well, no, then there's the other thing with interdependence, where if they're the two people who want to be together, and if they get married, then they lose all their whatever. I mean, that doesn't totally seem right either. But
I agree.
But I don't think anything is too small to try to help this cause. It doesn't have to be something like huge to help kind of get something started to hopefully get change happening here.
Right. Even the awareness, because I don't think people even understand the part about, like what Kurt was saying, that there's this income ceiling where if you will end up losing benefits because you hit this magic ceiling, and the ceiling is really, in my mind, crazy low. It doesn't take earning all that much. There's a lot of people who want to earn their own money, right? Don't we all have aspirations to create our own income so that we can be independent? Isn't that something that we all want? Just because a person has a disability doesn't mean they don't have that goal. But the way government is set up right now, where if a person even has a little bit of income, all of a sudden their benefits are jeopardized. To me, that's absolutely insane. Wouldn't we want people to have more independence and be able to have more of what they need to have a better life for themselves, versus the government says, hey, you hit this income ceiling here. If you make this little bit of money, all of a sudden we're going to take all these benefits away. That little bit of income does not cover what those benefits were. There's got to be a better way to put that together so that the government is in a good position, the individual's in a good position, and it makes sense. So that's my little soapbox of, I can't believe that's where we're at in this world. It is absolutely crazy in my mind. So I'm going to switch gears for just a moment here. I am going to make a quick plug here for the Disability Channel, so that there is some good stuff happening this summer. The Good Friends World Tour. If you haven't heard about it yet, it is coming to a place near you. So the Good Friends World Tour 2023. It is rock music genres promoting friendship, positivity, and adventure, and including special international guests. We're going to be sharing the journey with millions of people worldwide through performance, radio, TV, social media proudly sponsored by the Disability Channel and its valued partners. The June 2023 launch will be in Cleveland, Ohio, and in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where they're going to be touring the USA and Canada and coming soon to a venue near you. So again, the Good Friends World Tour, you can find out more, find out details. Tickets will be on sale soon online. Look them up at goodfriendsworldtour.com. Again, that is goodfriendsworldtour.com. So I'm going to just bounce this back over to Emily one more time here. If you want to mention our partners who we are partnered up with all we're doing here with the Disability Channel. And I'm so glad we had this chance to have this conversation. So over to you, Emily.
Yeah, so along with the Disability Channel, we have Marcus Hart of Transform You Media out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We have Zach Clayton out of Colorado with the PAC channel. And we also have Lawrence Wingate with Wingate Studios out of North Carolina. Those are our main partners, but then we are also working with Jennifer A. Whitaker with the Joe's Coffee Chat, and a number of other people with their own shows. So if anyone is interested in coming on any of our shows, please let us know.
Yeah, we are incredibly grateful to Jay Stoyan and this Disability Channel for this opportunity here for the Today Show USA. So Kurt, over to you for one last word before we close it up for the day.
Bye. Gave me one word. What am I supposed to do? Or maybe I should say thanks. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you at the next show.
Oh, thank you, Kurt Roscoff. It's Marion of Waikiki, kind of chiming in a little bit late, but thank you guys for everything you guys do. You continue to show the emotion, the passion of everybody with a person with a disability, and tears of joy for all that you do. I just want to thank you so much. And I'll be talking with you. So next show. So thank you. chimed in late, but I just want to highlight you guys. You guys do the work. You guys really stand up for people. You're always there supporting 110%. And I had a great day yesterday of tears of joy, interpreting. So I can't thank you enough for your advocacy to what you're doing in this journey and having these podcasts to do it. So thank you. Tears of joy. So I'm still crying because I had a beautiful day yesterday. And when you highlight things like that, it is important. It is so important. Every human is affected by something. Yesterday, I got to sign for my deaf friend I signed for him for 10 years. And for him to go through the emotions or reading the book, first of all, secondly, to do that kind of stuff, it impacts so much what. And it's tears of joy. It was tears of joy for us, for him to see this stuff. He started crying online with me. That's personal, because I was interpreting. And he's like, this is amazing. So I want to really, really thank you so much for being the advocates for people that are out there. We are all out there. Didn't matter. We were born in this world to become somebody, and we help each other. So I want to thank you, Kurt, Emily, and Sue, and Emily, for all the things that you do every single Saturday. Bring on the show, bring on more impassion to everybody else. And you encourage people to join us. Sometimes we can and can't do it, but you always do it. So I just really, really, really want to thank you. So I'll be joining you in the next one. So thank you very much. I had a very heartfelt appreciation day yesterday, and I want to appreciate you too as well. The tears of joy is just amazing. But Sue just did talking about different things. Yeah, we all have to be aware about those kind of things. We need family members to speak up with persons with disabilities or things that we can and cannot do. And after signing for 4 hours yesterday, it was just more impactful. I don't say take it for granted, but and you are the people and the leaders that are speaking up on it. And I can't thank you enough, Sue. Be an advocate. Of course it is. And oh my God, like tears of joy again. Yesterday went with the fact that we had to change some characters. I will say I wasn't right. I wrote some things down and I got re-edited. It was the best thing and the best feeling to get it off of my chest and to hear the other person's point of view. And it's okay. It was amazing. So, all right. So I thank you so much for what you guys are doing.
Yeah, Mary, maybe could talk a little more about that in the next episode.
Okay.
We need to end this and get started.
Okay. Thank you, Emily. I love your backgrounds, by the way.
Awesome. All right. So until the next